What are your thoughts, Dean? Do you think we're going to have another 2-0 on our hands?
I think of all the series today, this is the one most likely to go all three maps. I think it's gonna be a close one. I think it'll be very interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see Smooya face off against NATO with the op. Of course, two very aggressive players who like to go for those opening kills, who like to get that advantage for their team early on. And I think if they end up facing off against each other, that could be something really entertaining to watch.
Yeah, definitely could be very pivotal in this series. Remember, these two teams have already played in this very tournament, and last time they played, Sprout managed to steal away Cobblestone 16-13. Having said that, I think that Epsilon really sort of underperformed in that particular game, so I still feel like they'll be able to bounce back here, especially because generally it seems when teams lose, they get the chance to talk things over, they manage to improve on some of their aspects. So I still feel like even though Sprout won on Cobble last time around, I'm confident Epsilon can take their own map pick in this series this time.
Yeah, especially if all their players are showing up like they were just previously up against QB Fire. I think it's going to be a very interesting game. Surreal, Smooya, Robin, Cosme and Shaq, all of them had their own rounds where they really just stepped it up massively. And I think that's something that may favour Epsilon. I'd say they have a bit more firepower than what's available on the Sprout side. I'd say for Sprout, you'll be looking towards the likes of Innocent, NATO Sapphics, and maybe Dennis to get that heavy lifting done. Crystal, he's DIGL, he kind of does what he's required to do, but he's never going to be that player who puts up the big numbers.
Yeah, we're going to have a little bit of a pause just before this one starts because it looks like Epsilon want to get their coach on the server. I think that's Keisha, the... oh, is that how you pronounce it? Keisha? Keita? I don't know, the former
UK
Keita player. Yeah, probably like that. I don't really know. I mean, he's pretty irrelevant. I won't need to know his name, right?
Oh, Jesus.
that was a bit harsh. There we go.
Well, you BM in UKCS. If anyone here is BM in UKCS, it should really be me, the Irish person. You should cling on to what little you have right now. We have nothing to cling on to, so we may as well just make fun of the UKCS. So,
I mean, I shouldn't really be calling anyone out. I'm pretty trash at this game. So, hey, I mean, and I mean, Ireland's got Windansky. I remember when he was around. Anyone else?
Connor Cinder, technically.
Yeah.
He's technically Latvian, but I think he's also an Irish citizen, as he has played on the Irish team in TWC and stuff. But yeah, we'll focus on the game now. We are finally going to be getting live. Apologies for all the delays, guys, but we are going to now have a great game coming up. Over on that D side, it is going to be Robin, rather, that picks up that utility. On the CD side, Speedy gets a CZ, and Crystal goes for a smoke and a defuse kit. And it looks like we will be seeing some form of an XQ coming in. Nice little smoke by Robin, and I believe that's actually the smoke off the doors. Allowed him to try and get up through connector, up towards the site and just cut off connector, and there you go. It is going to be landing. That's a very nice smoke by Robin. Isn't it? He is just charged straight up this ramp, trying to get up close with his Glock, trying to close the distance. Because right now, that damage early on will be going slightly in favour of the T side. And NATO Sapphics, he steps it up. Spitty with the CZ going to be able to take down one, and it's only surreal so far for Epsilon to really get anything done. As Smooya is going to be left all alone in a 1-on-4, P250, but he's only going to find one before he falls. And Sprout started off well by picking up that pistol.
Yeah, that was something a little bit different from Epsilon. We saw them play Cobblestone earlier today. I don't think they went for that sort of a play on the pistol round in the previous matchup. However, this time around, they go for the smoke over the top. It was pretty well lined up. However, Sprout managed to get into good enough positions to find the kills. Even though they weren't necessarily fully on towards the site, coming in towards Heaven was good enough. And, well, they did have to land the shots really to cut things off, but they managed to do so. And now Epsilon just going to have pistols to play with. Yet again, they're going to lean towards the A bomb site. This time around, they only have the one smoke for Surreal, so that could go in towards door to try and allow the push to come forwards. There are still two players already towards A, although NATO Sapphics is stuck with a scout, so he could get overwhelmed if he isn't careful. And there we go. Dennis spots a couple of players out, so Sprout should be aware it's likely to be an A push. And Dennis already doing the damage. NATO's nade also chiming in. Dennis might get a chance for more, and he does get a second kill. Not going to get the third, but there it is. Finally finishes things off. And a fairly easy second round as well.
Yeah, not really any trouble into that one for Sprout. So I've been able to close that one down. And it's just going to be Epsilon now looking to go for a full eco. They do average just about $2,000 onto their players, so it doesn't really seem like they'll be able to upgrade at all. Likely just 5 Glocks, as I'd like to see them maybe just group up, try and get 1 or 2 kills out of this round at best, and if lucky, a bomb plant, but I don't think the chances of that are very high currently, as for now at least they are going to just favour over towards the A bomb site, and there's only one player in position to try and hold this one down. That's just going to be Dennis, and If he gets overwhelmed, perhaps something could be done for Epsilon. If they can pick up that FAMAS, if Chat can get some work done here on the flank, actually, as the 3-round burst works out. He takes down Crystal and gets an MP9, but still one more player up close. Doesn't matter though, Innocent. He's going to get taken down. Chak stepping it up, and damage has now been found. An MP9 and a FAMAS are retrieved, and Chak building up some economy with that SMG as now Spitty with the CZ continuing on with that from the previous round, getting a kill once again. MP9 is also available, and NATO Safix with the scout getting work done. Gets himself a quick double, and Robin's now going to be the last man standing. Left to try and clutch this one out, and he's been tagged up by NATO Safix, who has just been playing massive so far in this round. As Robin brings it down to a 1-on-1, but with 2 points of HP, Dennis should be able to take this one unless some amazing shots are hit by Robin. And as he spots out the head, get awkward maybe. The head angle perfectly there Robin was, but it's not going to be enough. Dennis, he ends up clutching out now for a Sprout, but a lot closer than we would have expected when he's only had 5 Glocks in the beginning of that round.
Yeah, NATO Safix really bailed Sprout out of that round. Those 2 headshots were not easy to hit with the scout, but he managed to do so, and then even got a tag onto the last player to make things a little more simple for Dennis. Although he still had to find a headshot because Robin realized he had to play a headshot angle. Either way, NATO jumping out through A long is going to get that first kill. And it's always fun to watch it when an AWPer is confident. It's always fun to watch, and there you go, the Dane gets the first kill of the round, and ooh, Smooya gonna get a spray through the smoke to get the eventual trade. And Nade over the top does a little bit of damage as Smooya falls back, but there we go, back to a 4 versus 4. Smooya couldn't quite get the AWP in this round, but he's still getting some work done with that AK.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one now for the CTs actually, as it's going to be a split towards the B bomb site. Smooya, great position, gets 1. I don't think he's aware there's a player up on the tree, so Spitty maybe could take 1 or 2 kills out of this. That would be the ideal situation. But now he has been spotted, he is going to be forced back down, and it's up to whether he can actually get this kill on the player in the drop room, and if his teammates are able to actually hold down this bomb site itself, and it's not looking likely. Jack takes 1, Spitty falls to the hands of Cosmin, and NATO Safix now is the last man standing. May just want to try and save this AWP.
That'll be a little bit frustrating for NATO after getting the first kill of the round. His teammates don't find anything else. And, well, Sprout were kept somewhat low in terms of their money, because remember, that 3rd round in particular was very, very close. They only saved the 1 gun. So Sprout shouldn't really have a great buy heading into the 5th round here. Seems as though NATO, even if he saves the AWP, will be unlikely to have too much support. So we'll have to see if Sprout can get anything done. And it will also be interesting to see where NATO plays with this AWP now. If they do go for the eco, they just lost the B site in that previous round. Maybe NATO will want to switch it up and try and see if he can help hold the B bomb site in this upcoming round. Because as you will see shortly, the money on Sprout not looking great. Probably 1 eco might be enough to get a buy together, so I think that's probably what I'd go for. But either way, not a great position to be in.
Yeah, I don't know if 1 eco will actually be enough. Innocent and Spitty are looking like they're going to actually be facing the double eco. They have 1,500, I believe, each, and 2,400 on 1,900 rather on top of that. And the following round is only going to leave them just about 3,400. So they are going to be a bit short, and that's going to be a problem. Also, Spitty actually only on 1,300, so it's not going to be a great buy. It may be a double eco. I think maybe buying into this one could have been ideal. They had enough to buy to drop 1 M4, and also to NATO could have dropped 1 rather, and then 1 could have been bought up by a different player to drop to a teammate. But yeah, into this one, it is just USPs and a Deagle and CZ to try and back up the op. And early on, a lot of HP advantage going to be given in favour of Epsilon. But as I said, that Crystal steps it up. He's able to find 1 kill, at least retrieves the AK. And back control going to be taken away from Epsilon, with Dennis finding that kill out towards A. This could get a bit dangerous now. 3 on 5. Epsilon trying to bring this back. They still have the weapon advantage overall. And also, in terms of HP, it's looking pretty good in their favour. But still, with 5 members now, if Sprout are just successfully able to try it out, this should be going in their favour. But there we go. Chak able to find 1. Drops Dennis, who perhaps continued that aggression for a little bit too long. But now, Sprout in a good position. They've pushed a couple of players out forward on B. And they should begin to rotate soon. But Spitty, he gets taken down. And now the A bomb site is just going to be up for the take. And we see Surreal lurking in the connector. He's going to be able to try and cut off this rotate. And it's just beginning to fall apart for Sprout, as at this point they may even have to just try and save this AK and up.
Yeah, I mean, Sprout will probably be a little frustrated again. They got it into that 2-man advantage, and it looks like they have gone and thrown it away. However, at the same time, if they save these 2 guns, that probably will prompt them to go for the force buy. So it could be worse for them. It's just the fact that after getting the two-man advantage, you feel like you really want to compete in the round, and just a couple of kills completely turn the round on its head. Sprout are just going to have to save what they can, holding off towards the B bomb site. Innocent could take a risk, could try and upgrade his weapon. He's only stuck with a Desert Eagle. However, it doesn't look like he's too interested, so Epsilon will be able to save what they can, or they could try and hunt these guns down. I don't think they really need to, though, especially with their money not being great. Both teams are quite happy to just save. So a little bit of a gentleman's agreement not to go too aggressive. And there we go. Both teams will get to keep 3 guns, even if Sprout only save a dig on one of their players. And now, indeed, the Force Spy can come through. And remember, NATO's still going to have that AWP, so this could certainly be a very dangerous round, depending on how Sprout managed to play it out.
Yeah, Smooya yet to get onto the op. He's just going to be continuing on with the rifle for now, as it's a pretty decent buy overall for the Sprout side. The only real weakness that they have is having that UMP on the Spiddy. Other than that, they have a decent amount of utility and also the rifles to back it up. So Epsilon seems like they may actually be taking the pace up in this round. It may be a faster approach to the A bomb. Say Smooya, he has the opportunity to try and get that opening kill, but it's going to be Robin instead to find it. And Dennis only finds one before falling. But Crystal, look how aggressive he's getting. The flash though doesn't work out in his favor originally. He will still find a single kill. Will instantly be traded back by Surreal, but Spiddy now on the op is going to be able to step it up. He takes down Cosme to bring it back into a 2-on-2, but he's not looking very healthy currently. Innocent on the bomb site though, he's looking okay. And again, Epsilon, let's see where they decide to take this. It looks like they were considering to be bomb site, but they will just make their way back over towards A. And right now Sprout, they've actually yet to rotate, playing this really smart, just sticking on the bomb site, waiting to see if the bomb gets planted over on B. If it does, they can just stick in a pair and just try and retake it together. But now Epsilon walking immediately towards this, and actually Innocent, look how aggressive he's got in down towards middle. You may call that this is open, and Spiddy could maybe get caught off guard.
Yeah, this was effectively a recreation, a carbon copy almost of their pistol round strategy, where Robin lined up the smoke for door, they went up through mid, and now this is awkward. Spiddy is in a pretty good position here. Oh, he might just sneak past and catch Surreal. Surreal will not expect this because Sack has pushed in towards Connector. This could get dicey. Spiddy's still not making a move though, because he doesn't want to take that risk. He doesn't know that they haven't spotted him out. And here we go, Sprout line up the retake. Sack might just realize Spiddy's here, but he's not going to clear the corner. Oh, Spiddy's moved forwards, but the incendiary is thrown, so I think they may have the information now. There we go, Sack hears the steps, gets the kill, and Spiddy will be wondering how long Sack was there, because he might be a little confused about that one. Either way, Innocent is just going to be forced to save, and so Epsilon, after losing the pistol, bring us back to an even scoreline.
Yeah, really good work so far in these gun rounds by Epsilon. Innocent, he is at least able to save that AK over, but once again, Sprout won't have the economy to buy. They have at least some form of money bonus being built up now due to losing the 3 rounds in a row. In the following round, they will get themselves $2,900. So that should allow for a pretty decent buy to come in. But now Smooya, he gets himself the AWP, and it will be a bit of an easier round for Epsilon. By no means is it instantly won, or by no means they're Sprout out of it, but they only really have that AK and some pistols to back it up. But also having some Kevlar is a bit of a positive. Right now, Epsilon seems like they will be just splitting up for a default with some pressure towards B and an extremely passive hold over towards A. I believe that is Robin and Smooya who are just going to be holding for any sort of aggression to come out. Right now, though, Spiddy, he's the sole player and he's actually only working with a Zeus.
Yeah, Spiddy likes that Zeus, doesn't he? He's in towards A long, as you were saying. Pretty good position to play up close. Sometimes you'll see players play there with the Mag 7 as well if they can't quite afford the full buy. Either way, the deep smoke has gone off towards B plat. Sprout go for the peak though. There's plenty of players on the other side, and you can already see Smooya is going to get that opening kill. The smoke's being lined up, and Innocent is caught in the open. The Molotov takes him down. Only the one frag on towards the B hold, and with the AK being lost, I think that might just settle the round, unless NATO can have a big hold. But Robin, very quick on the trigger, takes him down, and Smooya hunts them down with just the P250. We always talk about Smooya's aggression, even when he has the AWP. He wants to keep aggressive with the pistol, and Epsilon have turned this game around. Now they are now in the lead.
Yeah, good start into this by Epsilon. We mentioned that or at least I mentioned that I believe they're the team with the more firepower coming into this matchup, and so far they're able to show that. Once they got the rifles out, they've been victorious in 4 rounds now in a row. But as mentioned though, beginning to build up some loss bonus at least finally, so they're able to get those buys out a little bit more frequently, and also with some better utility to back that up, as well as all the weaponry. Early on though, looks like it will be just a default coming in by Epsilon. Cosmian though, getting extremely aggressive over towards B. I believe he has been spotted, and actually Crystal is able to just spam him down through that smoke. Opening an advantage now, going in favour of Sprout as Epsilon with most of their presence over towards A. Let's see what they eventually decide to do. They still have a lot of time to work with. The bomb's still all the way back in B halls where only Jack is going to be present. But they aren't really in too much of a rush to make a decision about what they want to do. They're slowly creeping forward and hoping maybe to catch someone from Sprout a bit aggressive and catch him off guard.
Yeah, and it seems like Spiddy is consistently playing in towards Connector, being that rotator. Especially when Sprout get the man advantage, they feel a lot more comfortable in letting him play that role. And as well, they have some information out towards B. They had Innocent somewhat peeking out towards B plat, so they decide to keep him ready to rotate if he is required. And it looks like he may be, because already the push coming in. Robin gets the first, and Smooya also chimes in with a frag. Spiddy on that quick rotate, as I was saying, gets a double and a dink on towards Robin, so that's a lot of damage done. And that smoke does miss, but Smooya finds the frag. Trade's coming back, and the damage is done to the Epsilon players. They're both rather low on health. I said that Robin spots the man, gets the kill. 20 seconds left now in a 1v1. Robin, however, only has 21 points of health, so he's going to have to rely on a quick headshot. And Innocent is going to make his way forward slowly but surely. He has got time to play with the kit in his hands, and there it is. Innocent spots him out, saves the AWP, and Sprout finally gets a gun round to go their way.
Yeah, Sprout, that was looking a little bit close there. It looked like Epsilon may have been able to take it, but just Spiddy steps up massively when it's required, gets that nice little spray down, gets the dink onto Robin, and then he just falls back off. He eventually did over-aggress a bit, but luckily enough his teammate was still able to clutch that one out. So yeah, 4-4 now. Epsilon, they still have the economy to buy into this one, so they're not going to be worried quite yet. They'll be looking to try and reset the economy of Sprout now. The loss bonus, of course, is going to be gone. If they're to lose this one, they'll be set back straight onto the 1400. And they don't really have a perfect buy coming into this one by any means either. Only living with one player. They have the op. They have at least one M4, and they should be able to get another. But I think Dennis and Crystal are probably going to be working with some form of weaker weaponry.
Now, while we have the pause, I'm going to go ahead and take this opportunity to mention our giveaway here at eFrag. We've got a flip knife blue steel field tested up for grabs. And to enter, you just have to subscribe to the channel here on Twitch. Not only does it help us out, but it also gives you the chance to win that knife. So no reason not to. If you want to subscribe, make sure to go for it. Now is as good a time as any, especially with that knife on the line. And that will be drawn on Sunday after the grand finals of this tournament. So make sure to stick around for the rest of the week. We've got plenty of games coming up. Either way, we're going to head back underway right now. And Sprout, they do still have a decent enough buy, but Crystal is going to go for the AWP. I was going to say, that was a little bit strange, and it will now be given back to NATO, as you would expect. And he's just going to hold passively towards A to start the round.
Yeah, Dennis initially had a bit of an aggressive push. He sees some utility being thrown in by the T side, and we're just trying on his own Molotov to try and delay a small amount as he does just fall back, make sure he can actually work with NATO Sapphics and not be alone. You don't want to allow Epsilon to get these 1 versus 1 chances because, as mentioned, they do have some very skilled players, and a lot of the time they're going to be able to win those ones out, or at least find the trades. But now Epsilon just focusing on the map control, getting your way up towards A, trying to get control of long, and then later on in towards middle. It is a fairly standard play on Cobblestone. It gives you the option about actually being able to hit towards the say bomb site, or else you can just fall back, and then the CT side have to be cautious of this position. You have to be cautious of lurkers, but Jack, that was close there. He was almost able to get that onto Spiddy. Down to 28 HP onto Spiddy now, as early on Epsilon able to get themselves a HP advantage as well as a lot of map control to work with. So Sprout, what are they going to do now to try and get this back in their favour? Aggressive pushes can be extremely difficult, so pushing for info isn't something that's always so easy on Cobblestone.
Yeah, 40 seconds left, and Epsilon finally grouping up. Except for Cosmian, who's still in towards drop, but there goes NATO. He's going to get that first kill quite easily towards mid, and he's also going to reposition. Epsilon might not expect him to be on the site itself. 25 seconds, and Sack is going to get the opening for Epsilon. Push comes in, Sack spots the man. So it's back to a 3v3, but NATO misses that key shot. 15 seconds though, and Epsilon need to get a move on here. Cosmian is nowhere near the action, so it's up to these two players towards A, and they're going to be taken down one by one. Cosmian in towards Connector just cannot do anything about this. He might have played a little bit too passively, and oh, NATO, I think, yeah, took him down after time there. A very quick shot. It was very close, but it will be Sprout to regain the lead.
Yeah, Epsilon definitely still have a pretty decent investment though into this one. Cosmine, of course, due to dying after the time, is going to be limited. He gets a UMP along with the Kevlar. Doesn't get any utility to work with, but I think the rest of his teammates have enough to really compensate for that, at least for now. Early on into the round, they do have quite a lot to work with. Only a small amount has been thrown out early on, so they aren't really too limited. But right now, Sprout, a bit of an aggressive stance over towards A, but it seems like Epsilon are going to be swapping it up. So far, we've seen them really focusing on the A bomb site. This time though, grouped up in the B halls with 4 players. A bit of presence being shown towards Drop, and Robin even making his way back over in this direction now means that we likely will see Epsilon looking to try and go for an execute, and Smooya, he's just going to be leading the way out, finds that kill onto Innocent over the top of the smoke. Crystal, of course, is still below in that position, may not be expected, but it's going to be more damage being done now as Spiddy is down to 38, and this could get difficult, especially with Smooya being able to find more. Robin shuts down Crystal. He's not able to get a single kill from that position, and because of that Sprout, they've already decided to just go for this save.
Yeah, this is, I think, the main weakness, to be honest, is Sprout's setup. They have normally Spiddy in towards Connector. Fairly often, at least, he's in towards Connector. So Epsilon, if they go for a quick B push, could certainly overwhelm the players towards that B site, especially considering it's very difficult to hold Drop. So if you split towards B, yeah, it's not going to be easy for Sprout to hold that off with only 2 players. So Epsilon going to be able to, again, win another gun round, and Sprout really don't have the money built up. They're going to have to probably save into this upcoming round. Yeah, only $2,000 on most players. So it looks as though they're just going to have to go for maybe 1 eco would be enough, but even that might not be. It's still going to be certainly on the edge. And it might be time to put NATO with that AWP back over towards that B bomb site, because it seemed like when he was there, he was doing a little bit more damage, and the players currently towards B not necessarily holding it off all that well for Sprout.
Yeah, certainly not. And also, well, at least they do have NATO Sapix in position for that. That is going to be a positive. They have the op there ready to try and hold this one down. But Epsilon, I don't really think they're in too much of a rush. It looks like they may be taking this one quite fast, and maybe that could give a bit of a chance now to Sprout to try and get something done. Crystal, similar position to the previous round. Let's see if it works this time. And no, the answer is definitely it's not gonna, as Chak is able to take him down. And NATO Sapix, he may get overwhelmed, but he hits the first shot. He's going to try and repeat, but Cosmine is going to be able to successfully take him down, and Spiddy finds the trade, even picks up the AWP. He's not going to be able to get anything else done with that, as instantly Smoothie returns it. And now it's going to be a 3-on-2 in favour of Epsilon with full control of this B bomb site. And Robin just wants out at least 1 player in towards the drop room. And Dennis with an AK. He's going to look to try and go for this one is the question, as now he's just going to be the last man standing.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if he's going to go for this one at this point. For what it's worth, 3 of the players on the Sprout side did fully invest, so it won't be a buy into this upcoming round. And Dennis will indeed look to save the AK. Does get the 1 kill on towards Cosmine, so that's a nice little bonus, but not a massive issue for Epsilon. They can afford to throw away these guns at this point. They have a decent amount of money already, and they're likely going to be up against a weakened buy here. And I think Sprout just probably need to put more players towards B at the start of the round. I think it's probably worth just having 3 players towards B straight at the start, just to make sure you can hold off the early aggression, because it's fairly unlikely that you're going to see a quick push out towards A. And if you do, then you can quite often spot it from fairly far away. You can call for the rotation. Whereas towards B, it's much more difficult to do that, and that's kind of being proven. Epsilon working that B site a couple of rounds in a row, and, well, Sprout in this round aren't going to have too much to work with. Wait, they're going to force. Okay, 3 rifles. It's not as bad as I thought, but it is certainly a risk to take at this point.
Yeah, I'd say so. It's not too bad, the fact that they actually have those 3 rifles. They have a decent amount of utility at least to work with. But still, Epsilon, they've been looking good so far since they've been able to actually get all these rifles out, get everything they've wanted. I believe we've only seen those 2 gun rounds gone in favour of Sprout, and then instantly Epsilon being able to return it now and reclaim that lead. Or rather, claim that lead. As right now, Sprout, let's see what they're going to be able to get done. They have come with 3 players over towards B early on. 2 just over towards A, but one of those being extremely passive. That's just Spiddy actually sitting back extremely passive with that CZ. Not really the best long-range weapon. He will now return back towards B, where currently Epsilon are making quite a bit of noise. They're showing a lot of presence. He has quite a lot of utility, and looks like right now, I believe that's Innocent and Crystal, we're actually trying to get something done. Innocent at least trying to bait for his teammate who's hiding up in the corner. But now Epsilon is looking to try and get themselves some control. They drop in towards the drop room, and this gives the option now for a B split if they wish to do so, which actually for Sprout may not be too bad. They have a pretty decent setup on this side of the map currently.
Yeah, not looking too bad for Sprout right now, especially as they do have a couple of the rifle players leaning over towards B. Having said that, Dennis over towards A gets picked off. That's going to force some sort of rotation, and that Molotov allows Zach an easy kill. The rotation now comes back towards B, which is the correct call, but the kills are still coming in. Epsilon now just going to completely overwhelm the site. A team ace for Epsilon, everyone chiming in with a frag. And I think it is fair enough that Sprout have called for the pause here, because that was an incredibly one-sided round.
Yeah, certainly Epsilon, it was looking a little bit awkward there maybe for a minute, but they just, that first kill coming in, Dennis falling over towards A, just kind of, I guess Sprout got a little bit nervous, and then Epsilon were able to just overrun them. A perfectly placed Molotov forced Crystal out into the open. He was taken down, and from there kind of just spiraled out of control. But yeah, a pause coming in. I presume this is tactical for a Sprout. It probably is needed at this point, as it looks like once again they will be just facing an eco. Won't really have a full buy into this one, or really any sort of buy at all. Only Dennis is able to invest, and he actually buys himself down to 1800. So he's adding body armor. Over on the Epsilon side, of course, they still have everything they want, and they're beginning to build up a pretty decent bank also late into this half, so I don't think they'll really be struggling for economy.
And for what it's worth, again, it's Smooya leading the way for Epsilon with 13 frags. We were also singing the praises of Surreal in the past series. However, this time around, he's not having that good of a game, and yet still Epsilon leading the way with the 7-5 scoreline. Obviously, Sprout invests somewhat into this round, or at least Dennis is going to. He spent $1,000, whereas the rest of the team haven't invested whatsoever. So Dennis might be forced down to a UMP into the upcoming round, but the rest of the team not going to buy up. Here we go, heading into this one. Should be easy for Epsilon. They are, however, spread out, but Cosmine, very quick reactions for the first kill, and it will be Epsilon, as expected, to get the first frag.
Yeah, I don't know how much Sprout are really going to be able to do in this. Ideally now they just want to maybe even try and get a couple kills themselves, pick up some rifles, because they'd then be able to get a bit of a better buy out the following round. They have a good amount of money bonus built up at least. They will be getting 2,900. And Spitty actually finding at least one there with the USP, an extra 300 for him to work with, of course. Not really too bad of a pickup, considering he didn't invest at all into this round. All he had was the USP, so he'd be happy enough with that. But still, man advantage for Epsilon, and it looks like they're going to come out over towards the A bomb site, and it's just going to be Dennis in position to try and hold this one down. But maybe if he gets Smooya, the op could be retrieved. Doesn't matter though. Smooya holds the angle, expects that push, and is able to catch it off guard and shut it down. So Epsilon making their way onto the A bomb site. This should be the round, unless we see NATO Safix having the best round of his life for the USP, and as you can see, that is not going to happen. So Crystal is the last man standing. This round is all but over.
Yeah, unfortunately for Sprout, considering they won the pistol round, this half has not gone how they would have hoped. Already 7-5 down, it's going to be 8-5. And again, remember, they got the 3-0 lead at the start, so clearly the gun rounds have been going very, very wrong for them. There goes Robin getting the final frag. And so it will now finally be a buy again for Sprout. Dennis can still afford the buy, so there you go. It will be a full buy for their side. And they're going to switch it up slightly, going for the 2 AWPs this time around. This is something that Sprout certainly have the ability to do. Crystal's certainly a competent AWPer. He's going to try and use that over towards the B bomb site. And here we go. A couple of players in towards mid might go aggressive. Robin is the only man here for Epsilon, so he needs to be careful. However, it looks as though Epsilon are going to go for some early aggression. Out towards B plat, it's Smooya trying to work a pick. Nades are going to come in towards him. Those could do some damage. Indeed, he's down to 60 HP, so just decides to fall back. In the meantime, Robin, despite being the only player towards A, has got a little aggressive here, and he will be picked off. There we go. Yet again, NATO gets the first kill for Sprout.
Yeah, good opening for Sprout into this one. If they're able to get the final 2 rounds, they'll still be in a pretty decent position. Definitely be a very respectable half, and a good start into this one. Definitely NATO Safix able to take down Robin. Damage being done onto both Smooya and also Saka, as he was taken down to 80 also. I'm not quite sure where that happened, but Right now, Epsilon, just about a minute remaining. They'll have to make a decision soon about where they want to take this, and it's looking like it will be towards the B-bomb site. Surreal looking to just try and cut off the rotates, it seems, from this position, as the other three teammates, they're going to have to try and actually claim control of this B-bomb site. And Zach, he starts it off great. Quick double headshot comes in. He's on Innocent and Crystal. Dennis will return that, though, in the connector. So we remain in a 3-on-3, and Spiddy going to be able to take down one successfully. Cosmain treads it out once again, but time beginning to run out now, and the bomb down on the B-bomb site itself means they don't really have a lot of time to work with. This boost, will Smooya even be able to make it around in time? As now he's going to be the last man standing. Dennis, he hears the noise of the boost, pushes in and takes that one with ease. And Spiddy, he closes that out from behind. So Sprout, indeed, they are going to get that round. It was looking a little bit shaky after that double entry out platform, but they're able to pull that one back together and get themselves a 6th round onto the board.
And just before the last round of the half, Dennis is calling for the pause. Considering Sprout just won the round, I don't think it will be a tactical one. Probably some sort of technical issue they're just going to get sorted out. But yeah, heading into the last round of the half, we'll see if Epsilon decide to switch anything up. They certainly have been leaning much more on towards that B bomb site, but this time around Sprout managed to stop them. So they could try and go back towards A if they think there is a chance for them. Having said that, oh, actually, is Spiddy going to take the AWP here? This is very interesting. Huh. I mean, I just don't know what this is. They have NATO Sapphics and Crystal, both of which have been AWPers in the past. But no, I guess Spiddy's going to take it out towards B flat. We'll get to see if he can do anything. We'll get to see if it's justified. See what could be up against Smooya's AWP on the T side. And yeah, here we go. Well, Spiddy accidentally walks into that molly there, down to 66 HP. Not the best start. Let's hope his AWPing's a little better than his movement.
Yeah, hopefully, but right now it is going to be just Robin creeping up towards long. Spam coming through the smoke, getting very close, just using that as a bit of a bait for NATO Sapphics, who's currently up close on this position, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be checked. Cosmain, he's not going to check it either, so this is a really good spot right now, as he should be able to capitalize with at least one kill out of this. He will get that one. Dennis going to be able to find a kill also, but traded back by Surreal now, the A-bomb site. It is going to be up for the take, and 2 players currently for Epsilon over in his position, and actually Sack looking like he wants to try and lurk through drop room. See what he's going to be able to get done. Perhaps would have been better to just go ahead and rotate back around to his teammates, but he does want to look to try and go for this one. But no, there we go. He is going to back off now. So playing this as safe as possible. We can see Sprout just being so cautious of this position. They have to be wary that it's a possibility that he has decided to stick around and could be coming in on that flank. As right now, Sprout, time beginning to run down, and they need to get a move on soon. Smooya with the off though. He's going to try and ensure that that doesn't happen, and he's doing a good job at it. He gets himself too, and Surreal is going to go in with that final onto Spiddy, and Epsilon with a 9-6 half.
Yeah, solid half for Epsilon, all things considered, especially when you take into account that they lost that pistol round. And if they win the second half now, they would be in very, very good shape. We are going to head underway for the second half pistol shortly. Let's take a look at the frag counts again. Smooya is certainly leading the way, but the rest of Epsilon also doing a decent enough job to sort of carry them through to the scoreline they already have. And to be honest, it wasn't anything particularly impressive tactically from Epsilon. It seemed like, for the most part, they relied on just kind of their individual plays or just pushing together as a team, which I think works quite well for this Epsilon lineup. They certainly have the ability to do so, and they proved that in that first half. And here we go, Sprout for this pistol round, buying up a CZ, giving it over to Spiddy with the Kevlar. It's going to be interesting. We'll get to see what he can do with that Raid Boss strategy coming in.
Yeah, it looks like the goal, at least at the moment, will be just to split towards this A-bomb site, but Robin, he finds one Smooya, also going to be able to get Dennis, and this boost coming in is interesting, and it's actually completely working out. Surreal and Smooya just shut down the connector push, and it's going to be all left on the Crystal. The one man who went for that utility, so he is not going to have any Kevlar to work with either. 1 on 4, and I don't know what his chances really are to get much done in this. When he doesn't have control of the bomb, it's down in the connector, and it's going to be really difficult for him to actually try and get this one back.
I don't really see what Crystal can do. There are 4 players all around the bomb for Epsilon, just locking it down. And Epsilon, I think in the past, when I've seen them on Cobblestone, they've almost always done that boost in towards Connector on the pistol. So maybe Sprout not quite doing their homework as they get caught out by the stack in towards that position. And there we go, Epsilon straight up to double digits. At this point, Sprout, they'll probably go for the force buy, but they won't have much to show for it. And Epsilon are going to make sure they don't lose against the pistols. They're going to get plenty of rifles just to keep themselves as confident as possible. And Sprout are going to just spread out. They have only the one Desert Eagle. The P250s might have to try and get up close to do the damage. And now they will have a fair few players group up. Looks like Robin is also going to try and hold in towards drop, so he could be caught out if a push were to come in towards him. But it doesn't look like that's going to be happening, because right now Sprout are out towards B plat.
Yeah, it's gonna be difficult for Sprout to really get much done in this one. They have some utility to work with at least, which is a bit of an advantage, but no smokes remain anymore, as it's only going to be flashes and a nade that are going to be available. Epsilon don't have a lot themselves, but they do have the firepower advantage, and that is going to be enough, it seems, so far, as they get all of the kills. Robin gets himself another onto Dennis, Berta gets himself one onto Dennis, and should be closed out now as Cosmian is going to be able to take down NATO Sapix. So not a single kill to come in for Sprout there on that investment, and now they are going to be looking at an eco once again, and another pause actually going to be caused by Dennis.
Yeah, quite a few pauses for Sprout throughout this game. I don't know how many of them have been tactical or technical, but this is probably... well, I don't even know, because they're not going to get a buy into this round. Either way, we'll get to see what they can go for. Remember, NATO is saving up for that AWP to get that as soon as possible, with $3,000 in the bank on towards him. And Epsilon should be able to build up a lot of money after winning that round very convincingly. All 5 players surviving. They should be able to save most of the guns again into this one. And to be honest, there's not too much to talk about, because this is just going to be a fairly boring round. We shouldn't really see any investment from Sprout. I guess we can talk about what they can try and go for in the opening gun round, because they're going to be 12-6 down. I think they'll more than likely take that first gun round slowly. It seems like whenever teams sort of have must-win rounds, they often don't want to take a massive risk early on. So I'd expect them to go quite slow with their first gun round when that comes through. But for the time being, just 5 Glocks and a Dream for Sprout in this round.
Yeah, and while there's not much for Sprout to work with, I'm going to go ahead and just tell everyone that there is a giveaway being done on this channel for subscribers. The prize for that will be a Flip Knife Blue Steel field tested, so if you want to get yourself in with a chance of being able to actually win that one, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Why not? If you already want to subscribe, it's just a bit extra for you guys to actually be able to get out of it. So there will be, as a reminder, a Flip Knife Blue Steel field tested up for grabs. As right now, should still really be basically nothing possible for Sprout in this round. Maybe they can get a bomb plant if they stick together and get a kill or two out of it, but Cobblestone, not really one of them maps where it's easy to get onto the bomb site without getting those kills. It's not like a train where if you just rush to B bomb site, you're able to get a plant. You have to actually try and overcome a lot of the map before you can actually get into a position to get the bomb plant.
Yeah, Sprout just sitting back, waiting patiently, hoping that Epsilon make a mistake. It's probably not an awful idea, because as we talk about, a few of the Epsilon players like to get aggressive at certain times, but this time around they won't be making that mistake. Sak, for some reason, has the USP out rather than the FAMAS. It still works for him to get the 1 kill, and then the FAMAS is out for the second. So as you would expect, a fairly easy round. Robin is going to take down Crystal, who had his knife out, and this time it's another pause called, this time from Epsilon. I'm not sure if this is a bit of a jab at Sprout for taking so many pauses, but either way, they're going to take the pause for this round. And I mean, they could certainly be discussing things, because Smooya's bought the AWP. Robin kind of has to think whether he should upgrade to the rifle. But yeah, Sprout will go for the buy. We'll get to see likely NATO going for the AWP, and we'll get to see if the buy is going to work out for Sprout, because this is effectively a must-win at this point.
Yeah, if they don't win this one, likely Epsilon reach 14, and then it's only really one more chance at a gun round for Sprout, and if they're not successful, then Epsilon likely going to be able to close this first map out. So it's not a great position right now for Sprout. They are able to get the buyout, as was mentioned, but it's not perfect either. Crystal's going to go ahead and relegate himself to that Galil in order to get utility, but other than that, they at least have the up on the NATO Suffix. He hasn't been maybe having as good of a game as we would have hoped, but he's definitely had his rounds. Smooya, on the other hand, 19-8, doing a great job so far with that up, and he just seems to be doing a great job in every single game for the Epsilon lineup. He seems to be that consistent player, and it's strange because his playstyle isn't something that should be so consistent. He's just super aggressive, and it just tends to work in his favor most of the time.
Now we're going to see Epsilon just spread out into their default with Cosmian boosted up. as we were saying, NATO Suffix does have that AWP again. I'm interested to see if he tries to work any opening kills, because that AWP can become somewhat clunky if you have to try and push towards the site with it. So I would hope that he would either stick in the back lines and just wait for the post plant, or try and get the entry. For the time being, though, they're leading Crystal over towards A, while the rest of the team lean back towards B. I'm not sure how much Crystal is going to get done, though, because Smooya is here with the AWP. Gets that first kill, but he has also called for a little bit of a rotation. But now Robin realizes there's no push coming in yet, so he'll stay in connector and make sure he stays towards B, because Sprout are now making their way down drop.
Yeah, Robin going to be able to open that one up, though. He will be successfully traded, but Cosmine's still in a great position here, playing from the rock and doing so perfectly. Gets himself another. That means it's going to be all onto Innocent now. He's left on a 1-on-3. Cosmine low. The other two players, they were looking quite healthy, but Smooya is taking a bit of damage, but it doesn't matter. He has the op. He has the longer range angle, and he's going to be able to close that one out. So Epsilon, they take themselves a very crucial gun round, and Sprout now on the back foot. This is not looking good. It's looking, well, just terrible, I guess is the best way to put it right now. Sprout, I think most people probably would have presumed that they would be able to take this map.
Yeah, I mean, they did win it last time they played against Epsilon, but it's still Epsilon's map pick. It was still very close. And clearly, I think this is just Epsilon again showing up. As I said last time, I really feel like Epsilon underperformed in that previous game against Sprout, rather than Sprout doing anything particularly impressive. They just played to a decent level, decent enough to be able to come out on top. Push is coming out towards Platt, and Cosmine waiting patiently, biding his time, and now he will pounce. In comes the first kill. Surreal's going to steal the second one away. Cosmine gets another frag. Finally, NATO gets the first one for Sprout. It's too little, too late. He will fall. A rather quick round for Epsilon to get their 14th. And to be honest, Sprout, I mean, they do have the buy here, but at this point, they might be looking ahead to their own map pick of Cash, because this feels like an almost insurmountable lead.
Yeah, I don't know if Sprout are going to be able to overcome this one. They have at least one more buy now. They will give them a bit of a chance. They don't have the op on the NATO Suffix, though, so there will be just 5 rifles. At least have an abundance of a utility. So they have that to work with. That is a positive. But Epsilon right now just definitely looking like the better team. It's looking like they've had control of this entire game throughout the course of it. And Sprout, they definitely need to show up big time now. Follow and map if they aren't able to get much more done on this one. Ideally, maybe even just chain a few rounds together, try and get themselves some confidence and momentum built up to actually kind of warm themselves up for the upcoming map. But I don't know if that's the better thing. Sometimes you'd rather just lose it outright rather than getting close and then just falling over the last hurdle, really. That can be even worse for your mentality. But right now, it is going to be Dennis. He's able to find that opening at least onto Smooya. Much needed opening as well to really emphasize how important this round is right now for Sprout. It is going to be 2 players on the A-bomb side. Spitty finds that one there, is able to take down Robin. NATO Suffix also able to find one over towards Long. So Sprout actually able to get themselves a great advantage into this round. 5 against 2 now, as only Real and Cosmine remain. Cosmine is going to get taken down as he tries to rotate in. So all down to that final UK player in a 1-on-5. And he probably should just be looking to save, but then again, they have a bit of money, so maybe damage could be on the table.
Yeah, Epsilon have a lot of money in the bank, so it's probably worth doing damage to the Sprout economy, but to be honest, Epsilon are already so close to map point that it's not a massive deal either way. Kill is going to come in though. Dennis has the AWP recovered. And to be honest, that was just Epsilon kind of getting picked off there. I think, again, the one thing I will say about Epsilon is that they do kind of rely on their individual skill rather heavily. But it seems like that's going to work out for them for the most part. Again, Smooya leading the way in terms of frags. Surreal certainly has been stepping up after a somewhat poor start from him. He's up to a decent level now. And Epsilon's certainly still going to have the buy with Smooya straight onto that AWP. He's been over towards B fairly often so far. It's probably worth switching up his position every now and then, just so it's not too predictable. However, this time around, he will go towards A long. So there we go. Does decide to slightly switch things up, coming in towards mid. He's going to try and play this tight angle. It doesn't look like he's going to get too much action, but as I say that, now the push comes in. Smooya does indeed get that opening pick. Maybe Sprout not expecting the AWP to be in that position, and he gets that first frag fairly easily, and he's not spotted the second. Smooya could be in trouble. Zach's already gone down, and Dennis taps off a couple of heads and completely opens up the A site.
Yeah, Dennis stepping it up massively there, able to get that quick double headshot. And Epsilon now, I think they probably will be just looking to try and save the rest of this round, the rest of the weapons that they have, because if they do manage to save, they should be able to get a buyout. Smooya, he has some decent economy to work with. Surreal would be able to drop an op over, and they'd have a pretty solid buy into the following round. But Sprout, at least able to get themselves up towards 8 now, or at least they should be able to. Epsilon doesn't look like they're going to go for it, at least not at the moment. So Sprout getting some rounds at least chained together now towards the end. Will they have really the mental fortitude to actually be able to bring this one back, because it's still a long road ahead, and Epsilon only needing to pick up 2 rounds. That's not really a lot of room for Sprout to work with in terms of those errors and mistakes that they can actually make.
Wow, there we go. Sprouts are going to get up to their 8th round. And as you were saying, I mean, Smooya got the first kill. They just didn't quite spot the man, Dennis, who pushed through. And those 2 frags are all Sprouts need to claim another round win. They haven't, however, managed to get on top of the economy game just yet, which is probably what they're going to need to. Considering how many rounds behind they are, they're probably going to have to force Epsilon down to a couple of ecos, unless they want to straight up win out all these gun rounds, which is a very tough ask. So 1 more round win, and Epsilon should be at least on a weakened buy, and Smooya boosted up again. He's just making everything happen for Epsilon. That AWP again gets the first kill, and the incendiary will be well deployed, so Sprout can't really get the aggression going. They're kind of now stuck out in the open where they can't commit to the push towards the site, but they can't really fall back that safely. They're in really awkward positions now, and this is looking good for Epsilon as kills come in. Surreal pounces, gets a couple of frags, and Sprout stuck in a 2 versus 4. It's not looking good for them.
Yeah, not at all. Should be map point now for Epsilon, as Innocent and Spiddy, they do still have just about a minute to work with. I don't know what they're going to be able to get done in this position. Both of them are just at the moment hanging around in the B halls, looking to see if maybe any mistakes are made by Epsilon. But I don't think any are going to be, as at least for the sake of Sprout currently, or at least it was going to be an equal split 2 onto either bomb site for the CT side, but they are going to go ahead and rotate another player back. Smooya comes back to try and help. Surreal, along with that bot flash, is going to be able to take down Spiddy, and Robin is the one to close it, as Epsilon do indeed get themselves up to 15. The Sprout, they will be able to get some form of a buyout into this round, but it's not going to be perfect.
Yeah, and it looks very likely that Cash will be what Sprouts have to play for, the second map of this series. And I think it's, again, worth pointing out that Epsilon haven't yet played Cash with this lineup. Similar to Train against QB Fire. They played that game and they haven't played Train in the past. Same comes here against Sprout on Cash. I think Cash should be fine, though, for Epsilon, to be honest. They have a fair few players that will be willing to make plays. Smooya with the AWP can make some plays, which certainly is an option on Cash. And again, it's Smooya to get the first kill. He gets flashed in and decides not to fully commit to the peak, but spots the second, claims the 3rd frag. Smooya just going off throughout this entire map. And I think that's pretty much summed things up for Sprout. They've just been picked apart by Epsilon throughout this map.
Yeah, there should be. I don't know if anything's going to be able to be done. Innocent may find this kill at least, but it may only be a small consolation at this point, as they are still outnumbered 2-1. Epsilon should be able to close this one out. The bomb is at least retrieved by Spiddy, but right now he's going to be just completely surrounded by Epsilon players. You see Robin also pushing him down and towards middle. Cosmin, he will actually fall to Spiddy, but still, it should be eventually traded out. But Innocent going to be able to find Smooya, and now it's getting a bit scary for Epsilon. Going from a 5-on-2 into a 2-on-2. They may still have the correct choice coming in, as they do stack up with both players over on this A bomb site, and currently this is where Sprout are going to be taking this bomb, and I think they will have to commit to this now with the time beginning to just run down low. 30 seconds remains, and it's just going to be Robin now to try and hold this one down. A nice pop flash at least, or rather a nice flash goes in, lines him up. He is going to be able to get the first dink on the Spiddy before being traded out by Innocent, and a Surreal and a 1-on-1 to try and close this one out for Epsilon, as the bomb is going to make its way towards the site. Should also be planted, but Surreal, let's see what he decides to go for. He may just try and move instantly out the door, but stops at least for the moment. He has the defuse kit. He has plenty of time to work with. It has only gone down this second. And now he's going to be able to creep out towards the van. Innocent. So many different angles to check. He doesn't have any sort of info about where this final player can be. Well, Surreal is aware that Innocent had to have been near the bomb site to get that plant, and he's going to be able to shut him down. And Epsilon will take themselves this first map with a 16-8 scoreline. And we will go back to the desk now to actually discuss this one.